It's not, as you can see, the Century Plaza, and while this London newsroom is our home base overseas, we're as likely to be thousands of miles away where the news is happening. In just the last 6 months, we traveled to Paris, and then on to Tehran with the religious leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini. It was a triumphal return for the man who had toppled the Shah. Jimmy Carter sought peace in the unpredictable Middle East. We went with him. On successive days in Jerusalem and Cairo, we saw what seemed to be failure blossom into agreement. We went to Southern Africa, where for the first time in history, black Rhodesians voted for a black majority government. It has been 6 months to remember, with significant changes for the United States. We resumed diplomatic relations with China. We've seen changes there we thought we wouldn't. For a fleeting moment at least, people were allowed to express dissent. Soon thereafter, we were reporting fresh conflict. China invaded Vietnam. Asia remains complex and a fascinating story. Idi Amin was fascinating, but his brutality went too far. He was finally deposed by Tanzanian troops, and that beautiful East African nation is now eager to re-enter the ranks of humanitarian society. Pope John Paul II has become the overseas personality with soul. We covered him in Mexico on his first papal trip abroad. In a short time, he's established his papacy as the champion of social justice. Once again this year, the United States and the rest of the world are struggling over oil. Iran cut down its exports and OPEC drove up the price. The Shah not only had oil, he had the mightiest military machine on the Persian Gulf. It disintegrated under the weight of the Islamic Revolution. The Ayatollah Khomeini is trying to fashion a nation in an image which confounds the West. He leads a government many regard as vengeful. And finally, just before getting on a plane to Los Angeles, we made a shorter trip than usual, here to the official residence of Britain's Prime Minister's, number 10 Downing Street. It has been the residence since 1732, but on this occasion, for the first time in British political history, the new resident is a woman.
It's been a busy year, a year when we've taken the national desk out of the studio to where the news is, to Los Angeles during a series of terrible brush fires in the canyons, across the country to Massachusetts, where people worry about the dangers of stored liquid natural gas, to Memphis for a crippling police strike, to Wichita for a fireman strike, to Tornado Alley in Texas, and to the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For one straight week, engineers worked frantically to bring a nuclear reactor under control. Thousands of residents near the plant fled in panic, and it would appear the nuclear power industry will never be the same. 3 Mile Island was a man-made crisis. We covered others this year that weren't. A series of tornadoes left nearly 60 dead in the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle. Floods in the south submerged thousands of homes underwater. A snowstorm literally shut down a city that used to brag about how well it worked and made snow removal a way of life. And an eclipse. What an eclipse. The last we'll see over this country until the next century. We watched George Wallace leave office in Alabama, Dennis Kucinich hang on to his job in Cleveland, and Jane Byrne take over as Chicago's first woman mayor. In Oregon, Greta Rideout took her husband to court for rape and lost. In Los Angeles, Michelle Triola Marvin won $104,000 from actor Lee Marvin for the years they lived together without being married. John Wayne Gacy was arrested as an unbelievable horror was uncovered in the basement of his suburban Chicago home. The bodies of 29 young men. And nearly 5 years to the day after the most publicized kidnapping since the Lindbergh baby, Patty Hearst got her pardon. Several months later, she got her man. The most important running story of the year, the state of the nation's economy. It was primarily a story of inflation. The cost of just about everything went up: food, housing, gasoline. We think we did a good job making sense of all the economic news using economics editor Dan Quartz and the best graphic tools available to explain to people what that news means to their lives.
From our Washington desk, we reported on the Congress, whose life has not been notably robust these past 6 months. Perhaps the most fascinating event on Capitol Hill has been the advent of television in the House of Representatives. As yet, no serious threat to the ratings of daytime television. Some personalities have dominated the Washington story. Alfred Kahn, the government's chief inflation fighter, winning a reputation for talking. Some say too much and too fast. George Meany, the familiar voice of big labor, maintaining his familiar record of opposition to the government, any government. And there have been the political personalities. On the Republican side, the first official announcements for the 1980 presidential nomination, with a number of unannounced candidates making their interest clear too. On the Democratic side, a certain senator remaining highly visible, but carefully avoiding any hint that he may run for president. There were, as always, demonstrations in Washington. Farmers rode their tractors to town to call for higher price supports, but succeeded mainly in alienating a great many people who were simply late for work. But then, when Washington faced its worst snowstorm in years, the farmers put their tractors to good use and helped dig us all out. And the biggest story in Washington, the president. He made history by welcoming to the Capitol Deng Xiaoping, the deputy premier of China. And there were other surprises. Suddenly and unexpectedly, the president went to the 3 Mile Island plant to demonstrate his concern and his conviction that disaster had been averted and nuclear energy remained viable. Suddenly and unexpectedly, he went to the Middle East to achieve what seemed almost impossible. And then he brought Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin back to Washington to do what was no longer impossible, to sign a treaty of peace between Egypt and Israel.
History, it is said, is biography. History is people. Here are now some of the people we interviewed this past season for ABC, who told us what they told no others. No story is complete this year without Sadat and Begin, who sat with us here and abroad for newsmaking interviews. This, right after Camp David, when the major agreement seemed to be a high regard for Jimmy Carter.
But the man, very patient, very persevering, really.
In the woods, we used to walk and meet each other. How are you? How do you do?
Yeah.
The atmosphere was a real friendship.
While everyone was predicting that King Hussein of Jordan would come to this country and participate in the talks, he told us that he wasn't and wouldn't. Then the Shah of Iran, in his only TV interview, told us via satellite from Tehran of his bewilderment at the eruptions taking place in his country.
I did really, it was quite amazing for us to see all of a sudden such what happened, because it was so unexpected.
In December, ABC News presented the only interview that Jimmy and Rosalind Carter did together since he became president and she first lady. Will you be thought of as a great president, we asked. Mr. Carter said it's too early to make that judgment. Mrs. Carter said he is a great president. In January, John Wayne went to the hospital for what turned out to be a cancer operation. The day before, almost as if he knew this, he allowed us to interview him for my ABC special and ABC News. What's your idea of a very good day?
Getting up in the morning, being still here.
On January 29th, Patty Hearst learned that President Carter had commuted her sentence. Immediately after, in the only interview she agreed to, we spoke with her by phone from the prison. We asked if she were bitter.
No, I just feel really grateful for all of the support that I feel from people that I never knew, and without that, I think I would feel bitter.
In March, one of the strangest interviews we've ever conducted. After turning down requests from reporters all over the world, a haunted Shah of Iran agreed to see us in his lonely refuge in Morocco. It's God's will that this happened, he said, to show that nothing stays the same. These, some of the people who helped ABC News make news this year.
ABC News, growing as a leader in television news with programs like World News Tonight, now ahead of the competition in the immediacy of our news,
ABC News has learned
in the breaking of our stories, and in the presentation of what the news of the day means to our viewers. And new in 1979, Special Assignment, multiple-part series dealing with major issues of the day. Health costs, enough to make you sick. Women, work, and sexual harassment. TV advertising, believe it or not. Cash, colleges, and corruption. Your income tax. Coal, the unkept promise. Birth control, the risk-benefit factor. Stress, are we killing ourselves? And the unprecedented, are we second to none, with correspondent Ted Koppel, an eye-opening 2-week look at our national security and a major commitment by ABC News to examine in depth our military survival and vulnerability. ABC's World News Tonight, now the acknowledged innovator in network evening news television. Also new this year, World News Tonight Sunday with Sam Donaldson. All the news of the day, plus special features like sports. People, places, and trends called Back of the Book. What important people are saying and doing behind tomorrow's headlines. Insiders, World News Tonight Sunday. The new look in weekend news programming. Plus, ABC News Close-Up, continuing with the most provocative, creative, and aggressive documentaries on network television. Mission Mind Control.
One intelligence agency tried to peel this man's mind back to reveal its deepest secrets.
I'll live through it. I'll live through it.
The politics of torture.
This is a story of murder, torture, and repression. It is told by the people of the Philippines, Chile, and Iran, countries with close ties to the United States.
The Killing Ground.
Toxic chemicals are contaminating land, poisoning water and air, causing disease, even death.
I want out of here. I don't want to die here.
Men Under Siege. Life with the Modern Woman.
Be strong, be powerful, be aggressive, but be sensitive.
I know what I want, whether it's lousy or what. Give it to me, please.
And coming up in June, Anatomy of a Criminal Case, an extraordinary 2-hour documentary in which for the first time, cameras have followed the investigation and trial resulting from an actual criminal case. And in July, an hour on the future of space travel, a look ahead at what space travel and exploration in the 21st century will be like. In August, Money and Congress, an investigative look at lobbyists and pressure groups and the power they wield in Washington. And in October, an updated look at the state of homosexuality in America. ABC News Close-Up, recognized now as having the best documentaries on network television. Plus, ABC News Specials, the leader in live and instant news programs. The China Decision, a half-hour special produced and aired within 2.5 hours after the president announced the recognition of the People's Republic of China. Followed by China and America, New Beginnings. Carter and the World. Foreign Policy or Foreign Failure. The Solar Eclipse. ABC was the only network to devote a full half hour to this historic live event, which produced moments like this for almost 6 million ABC viewers.
We're trying to find the sun, or the sun eclipsed by the moon.
Frank,
Go ahead, Ron.
Frank, this is absolutely amazing.
There it is.
There you can see it. The roar of the crowd has just gone up. This is just the most exciting thing I think I've ever participated in.
This is the best picture we've had yet. This is the best.
And in March, Middle East Peace, the Carter Gamble. Middle East Peace, signing at the summit. 3 Mile Island, a nuclear nightmare, reaching a 32% share of the viewing audience. And Energy, Crisis, and Questions. ABC News Specials with aggressiveness, style, and innovation, leading the industry and offering the best in live special events programming. How do you become a leader in television news? With programs like these, building ABC News into a force in broadcast journalism. How do you become a leader in television news? With programs that present the news with precision, with imagination, and with high standards. So how do you become a leader in television news? Just watch us.